We're back at it. Or we just needed a reset. Now the video is kind of a little bit blurry. Seems like the background's kind of blurry. 6:15, so maybe I should have just set it forward a little. Does that video look blurry to you? Maybe it doesn't. Man, we had almost 8 people in. Oh, you want me to friend you? Huh?
You don't have to.
Well, you just sent it. Is that what you want?
I did?
That's what it says.
Oh. Oh, sorry.
Just ignore it.
Yeah.
I'll ignore you, son.
Me
No,
too.
no problem. Okay, welcome back, guys. If you were just in my channel, I'm so sorry about that. I have like some music playing in the background, and it looked like it got flagged. So I'm learning as I go. Luckily, I was able to get right back in here under the event that I created. So, oh well, we'll just start over. So, because I don't know really who's in here for the viewers, I'm just going to start over with this live. 7 days, 7 videos in 7 days, all about human psychology. Why we think the way we think, why we act the way we act, what makes us feel loved, what makes us, what fills our buckets, blueprints, belief systems. We covered that all in 7 days. Today was a brand new day. I'm switching gears and going now more into money, into finances. So I started out this morning with a little bit of psychology of money. I'll probably go into that again tomorrow for the morning. I wouldn't mind kind of figuring out what this nighttime live is really all about. It seems that it's been a lot of entertainment. I have been talking a lot about the a little more in detail of the morning talks. Don't get a lot of feedback there, so I'm not real sure kind of what everybody wants. But you know, I'm making choices to try to figure out what people are interested in and what they want to hear or see or experience. So I'm learning and growing. It's all part of the social experiment. So this morning, talking about money and the psychology of money, how important it is, how important money is in our life, how it creates freedom, how it allows us to make choices, how it gives us that safety and security. And so money is very important in our lives, and money not used correctly and not respecting money can cause us to have a lot of stress in our lives, because then you don't get the freedom. Now you're actually more imprisoned because you're trading your most precious resource, which is your time, and you're trading that for money. And the more things that you buy, or the more things that you get, the more things you acquire, the more debt you go into, you're more of a slave now to that thing. So if you have a lot of debt, you're a slave to that debt. If you stop working for any reason, now the bank creditors, they want the lifestyle that you've been renting. They want that all back. So not respecting money can cause big problems, and respecting money will always turn out good for you. So the psychology of money is very important, and it's important to look at your belief systems. And what do you believe about money? What does money mean to you? The old adage that money is the root of all evil. Do you really believe that? If you believe that, you probably are having difficulty with your finances. I don't know any wealthy person or anybody knowledgeable on wealth and how to gain wealth that has that kind of mentality, because money is an amplifier. It amplifies who you are. So if you are a bad person or have bad intentions, money will amplify that. If you're a good person and love and are caring, that's going to amplify that. So, that is one of those belief systems that I think should be addressed. Look at that, see if you have that kind of a belief system. I talked a little bit about this morning of find a way to bring value to other people and you will become wealthy. If you do more, you'll become more. So be valuable to other people. And when we talk about wealth, we're talking about a larger area. So, being rich can mean one or a few things. Being wealthy is a wider, broader area. How happy are you? What are your relationships like? What are the things you have? Are they high quality, low quality? It wraps up kind of everything in your life. And so wealthy isn't just money. You can be wealthy in a lot of different areas. And so I think that word kind of encapsulates quite a few different things. But but if you create value, you will be more valuable. So in other words, become who you want others to be. And that's the same true. That's the same with relationships too. If you wouldn't date yourself, then I mean, I wouldn't date myself because I'm not into guys. But but if you wouldn't date yourself, if your personality even turns you off, why would somebody want to date you, right? So I think that kind of plays into that factor as well. I talked about the gold standard this morning, how we used to be on a gold standard where money was tied with gold, which was valued for thousands of years, maybe tens of thousands of years. It was something that was beautiful. It was something that could be constructed into materials that were beautiful, statues, jewelry, and it was a rare commodity. And it still is a rare commodity to a certain extent, but we are now off of the gold standard as of 1970s with Richard Nixon. So the gold and the silver, that's no longer backed up in money does not back that up. It's no longer an IOU payable to silver on demand or payable to gold on demand. And so now it's just a piece of paper. Hi, Cindy. Welcome back. Sorry, I had some complications with Facebook. I was playing some music in the background and it just shut it right down and said, you're violating the rules for playing music. So I turned that off. It had something about it was going to kick people out and people couldn't join. So I don't know. I guess no music. Or I'll have to look up non-copyrighted music. So I thought it was quiet enough that it wouldn't really pick up, but it must have. So I'll be sure to stay away from that. But thanks for coming back. I appreciate you. I'm getting a notification to start my live at 6:15. That's a little bit late because it's now 15 minutes later. So, Carrie, you can also make little adjustments in your life to save more. Eat at home. Cancel unused services such as Netflix. Work out at home instead. Why are you not part of this live? Bro, you just come in with all that knowledge? Shoo! That's good, Carrie. That is so great. Thank you for that material. You're absolutely right. There's a lot of ways to save money and to take a look at your finances in order to get them in a place where you're not stressed all the time. Because like I said, money can be, if not used correctly, can bring stress into our lives as well. So it's very important to understand your psychology and how you view money, and because you don't want to be a slave. You want money to work for you. Ultimately, you don't want to trade a precious resource like your time, which is finite amount that you have. You don't want to be trading that for money. You can. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's not a long-term solution that you would want to go for if wanting to become wealthy or financially free. A lot of folks use. So if you can figure out a way for your money to do the work for you, who was it? I think it was Mr. Wonderful off of Shark Tank. I follow him and listen to his podcasts, and he said something really funny. He's pretty he's pretty comedic, but he said that he likes to send out his money, and his money has little babies, and they go have lots of little babies, and they go do their work, and then they come back, and all the babies come back with more babies and more money that they've accumulated, and that's so true. A little personal time with me here. I'd like to get a little bit raw with you and share a little bit of my story. Before I met Carrie, I was married, and there was a time in my life where I decided that having my own construction business wasn't something that I wanted to do any longer. I felt that I had more to offer. I felt that there was more exciting things in life that I could possibly get into. I was an EMT at the time, and or prior to that. No, I was still an EMT then, and emergency medical technician. I rode in the ambulance, and then when somebody had an accident, or you're shy, you're not shy. You always say you're shy. She sings all the time, and it's so beautiful. It's so angelic. And then oh, I'm shy. I'm shy. I don't even got a singing voice, and I'll be ripping it on the karaoke, and it sounds horrible, but karaoke. But you'll get there, honey. You just keep working on it and stop worrying about what people think, and just enjoy yourself. But so I was an EMT, and as I went to these medical situations, traumatic situations, I really found that I had a gift or a knack to be there for people while they were struggling and hurting. And so I quickly realized that I wanted to do something more with my life, especially like in the medical field. And so it was 2008, and we had the big housing bubble crash. And a lot of folks were scared and not spending money. And so my job as a remodeling and new construction, roofing, all of that was kind of slowing way down. So I decided to enroll in school. And so my ex-wife or my wife at the time, but my ex-wife now, stayed at home with our three kids. Why did you say four kids?
What?
Why did you say four kids today?
To you.
Yeah, why?
Mom.
Oh, because she treated me like a kid?
Yeah.
I just thought of that. Even though you said that earlier, I just thought of that. Like, wait,
Oh, yeah.
why did you add an extra kid to our family, Joel? Um, so she stayed at home with the three kids. I was the breadwinner for a construction company, and I decided I wanted to do something. Yeah, Carrie, there's a lot of squirrels in this. You know this about me. That's okay. People enjoy squirrels too. It's me. You take me or leave me, right? So she stayed at home with the kids. I had a full-time construction business. That was slowing down. I decided to enroll in school. I went to nursing school as a full-time student, not part-time, full-time, while still running a construction business. And oh, thank you. Now you're making me blush. Oh, I'm so shy, Carrie. Thank you. I appreciate that. Should we take a poll? Am I cute? So, so I had a lot on my plate, and because I went into nursing school full time, and the crashing was happening, I ended up going. I ended up having to file for bankruptcy. I ended up in foreclosure on my home. I couldn't make the mortgage payment. I could only make partial payments, and it was getting so far behind that they were after me to get that caught up. I had no extra resources set aside. I hadn't really had much of a savings account. I really set myself up for failure because I didn't really understand the value of money and my time. And then on top of it, went through a divorce. So some major things going on at that time. And they were all just kind of come crashing down. So the reason I share this story with you is because it goes to show you that if I can do it, and I'm doing it right now, I've got 7 doors of rental. I've got a triplex and 2 duplexes. I've got a property in Marquette that is that is ready for something. It's a piece of land, and then I've got this house. So I'm not bragging. I'm letting you know that if I can do this, anybody can do this. All it takes is a little bit of knowledge. It takes a belief system that's solid. You have to understand how money works, the mechanics of it, and then you have to put the hard work to it. But you can't just go out and do the hard work without having any knowledge. you're going to end up just digging a hole. Okay, just keep digging, 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 digging. You're not getting anywhere. You have to have a game plan. You have to have a blueprint. You have to have a belief system. You have to have goals. There's things to do. And when you do the hard work, it pays off tremendously. The reason I can be here with you and do this podcast every single morning is because I don't have to work. Well, correction, I do need to work. But the income that comes in right now takes care of the majority of our bills and things like that. So you too can be financially free. I'm not there completely 100%, but I'm very close to it at 43. And I started at 35, 33, something like that. Somewhere around there, I started realizing what money meant and how I needed to kind of brace for the future. And who likes my shirt? Is Cherie in here yet? Inspiration. It's a little snug. I feel like I got to move around in it a little. Stretch it out. My chesticles. Carrie says, woo, woo. So, that's the psychology of money. I'd love to see you guys succeed. I'd love for someone to follow me along through this next 7 days and see if it doesn't change your mindset and see if it doesn't add value to your life. See if it doesn't allow you to become wealthy. And you will. You will. You can't... Remember what I said the other day about choices or decisions? That once you make a change, a choice, a decision, it's instantly changed in your mind. But some of us have limiters. Some of us have limiters on our mindset, and we'll run into a roadblock and say, have you ever heard this one before? Well, maybe it wasn't meant to be. You know, I keep running into roadblocks. It's difficult. It must not just, it's probably not meant to be. That's a belief system and a limiter, because that is absolutely 100% not true. Now, that could be true in some situations. If you keep running into a door, or what was it, the Bee movie where he kept running into the glass? Try again, try again, try again, try again. You're not getting through the glass, bud. You're just going to keep banging your head, and life's going to be full of pain. But for the majority, just because something is hard does not mean you give up and stop. Had people given up and stopped when it got hard, we would never have a light bulb. Thomas Edison, the peanut butter guy, George Washington Carver. There's 101 different ways to use peanut butter or peanuts. Shampoo, lotions. Thomas Edison, how many times did he try? And instead of giving up and saying, well, I just can't figure this out, he said, well, that's one way not to make the light bulb. And then kept trying. And that's really the kind of mentality you have to have. You have to go after it with tenacity and with a focus. It's not just sheer willpower. There's got to be a drive. There's got to be an excitement. There's got to be a want to change. And when I'm talking about money, I'm talking about change of the mindset, change of the way you see money and what money means to you. If you're scared and you fear money, you probably have a poor mentality. You grew up maybe not having enough, or maybe in your life there was always scarcity. You carry that with you, and so you always feel that there's never enough. You're never going to be okay. No matter how much money or whatever your wealth, all of your friends, everything you have, it's never going to be enough because you're always in fear that you're going to run out or lose it. And so there's a lot of belief systems that you really should look at your life. And if you do that, you can definitely take charge of your life. Remember, repetition is the mother of all learning. So you're going to hear me repeat things a lot. It's not because I like to hear myself talk, even though some people would say I do, like my daughter or my wife. You just like to hear yourself talk. Well, I'm not opposed to it, but that's not why I talk. That's not why I repeat things. I repeat them especially when there's a teaching situation, because the more you hear it, the more it solidifies in your mind and it becomes a truth. Once something becomes a truth, it'll become a belief, and that belief will carry you because it's a mindset, and it runs in the background on autoplay. It's called your subconscious. So when you hear these principles and you apply them and you believe them and you do them, you'll find your life changing. But what I was going to say was the river of life. We're all going down it. You have a paddle, you have a sail, you have a rudder, whatever you're riding in going down the river of life, you have control. And you can make choices starting today to get on that path and move forward with your goals and ideas, your ideology, your blueprints, but you won't know where to go with them if you don't take the time to figure out what those beliefs are. And so introspection is so powerful. It's important to look inside yourself and to meditate and to spend some time thinking about, people who are unhealthy escape emotions. They try to get away from the talk inside their head. They try to get away from emotions. Those are weak people. Strong people face those and they say, as painful as this is, as hard as it is, I'm going to face it. I'm going to face my fears. I'm going to face my emotional state. I'm going to face my belief systems. Because you know what? Once you face that, there's nowhere for that thing to hide. There's nowhere for you to hide. The old Christian adage was something like shining a flashlight on it. When you put light on something, you expose it for what it is. And how many of you in my chat right now can take a moment and think, what might I be hiding in the dark? What could I maybe expose that I know is probably not true, is probably unhealthy? What could I bring to the light that it could expose it and I could deal with it for what it is and I would be a healthier person? I know there's at least one thing in your life that you could think of that would be true. And I'm telling you, that is a powerful person. No matter where you come from in life, you can immediately become powerful by putting that principle to work and being introspective and shine the light on that one thing. And it doesn't have to be a huge discovery and momentous work to move the mountain. It's a little chipping away. Sometimes it can be immediate and sometimes it's just a little chipping away. But I encourage you, think of that one thing. Dig deep and figure it out, one thing. And then once you master that, you will be so shocked and surprised that when you face your fears and you face the things that are hiding, when you expose them in the light, you'll be surprised at how powerful and how good you feel. Take, for instance, when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was afraid of, I already said the one about the dark. I want to use the one for tight places. I was afraid of claustrophobia. And so what I did is I put myself in several different situations where it was scary to go into because I didn't know if I could get out. It felt like I couldn't get out. I'm trapped. It's a tight place, claustrophobic. But I knew that wasn't true. I knew it was a fear messing with me. Because if I slide into a tunnel and I can slide right out the other side or scoot backwards, and I know I have the capability, but it's scary. I faced it. Then the next opportunity I got, I faced it again. And each time I chipped away at that, I felt a little bit more powerful because I was taking control of my life. And after a while, you keep facing that. It's called exposure therapy. And I didn't know it as a kid, but I found it so fascinating because once I exposed that and brought it to the light, it was no longer fearful. And that empowered me so much that I began on this journey of psychology. Why do I think the way I think? Why do I act the way I act? And I didn't even know what I was doing. And so these powerful truths can help you too. Why are you afraid of spiders, Carrie? No, babe, I'm not going to call you out. But I did exposure therapy with Carrie. I showed you the pictures the other day of the big spider she's holding in her hand. And, little by little, she had less fear. And just the other day, a little spider, she let it crawl up her arm. Okay, she felt the fear, but she knows she can master it if she truly wanted it. If she truly desired to get over that fear, she could get over it. But she's got to have the willingness. She's got to have the want to. She's got to have the drive. Spiders and bees. Yeah, because they're painful. But Carrie, I've never seen you afraid of pain, ever. For God's sakes, I pierced your lip. You handle an exorbitant amount of pain and have no problem. Yet a bee sting, I mean, come on, it stings. Yeah, I get it, but you've had pain where you've almost passed out, dude. Like rationally think about that, and the more you question a belief, the more it's going to be exposed, and you'll be able to conquer that. Of course, it's more mental because it's a belief system. Somewhere along the line, as a little girl, you picked up that you were vulnerable and spiders and bees could hurt you, and you've never let go of that. Now you're a big girl and you can handle yourself, but you still have that belief that these are terrible creatures that will do major harm to you. Now, granted, there are a few species of spiders and even bees that could kill you. So there's nothing wrong with that. I think innately we're built to fear certain things. But you're right, it's a mental block, and only you can get over that. But you can't just will it to go away. There has to be an inspiring moment that says, I'm going to face this, and I can do this because everything else in my life I've conquered. I've watched you, Carrie. You are a very strong person. But you get to decide where you're going to stop the fear and when it's time to be over that. And you may never want to. And that's your choice. That's the beauty of life. We all get to choose that. But if we're applying this to money, who says I want to grow up and be poor? Who says I want to grow up and be a bum? Nobody that's stable, mentally stable. We all want to have money. We all want to have freedom, freedom to choose, freedom to enjoy our life. Money does bring happiness. It's not the root of happiness, but it can bring happiness. When you can't pay your bills and you can't have a roof over your head, you're not going to get safety and security. Money can bring safety and security, so absolutely it can make you happy. So some of these belief systems that we've been told that, money can't make you happy, come on now. That's BS. The only people that say that are poor people. Is it smart to invest money in the stocks? Maybe that should be something you discuss. Oh, absolutely. Investment in the stock market, it's a gamble. Stocks will always be a gamble. But if you go back to the 1800s, 1870s, 1880s, the stock market has always gone on an uptrend. Always. But in the meantime, there's dips and peaks, valleys. But in the long run, so if you're going to long-term invest, absolutely stocks can be, if you can do 10 years or more, let's say 7 years. If you can put 7 years or more and you have plenty of time to invest, absolutely. The problem comes when you go to draw that money out. How did you package that? There's different ways to package that money in being tax-free, or it'll be tax-free when you put it in, but you'll be taxed when you pull it out. The other thing that can be scary is when you go to pull that out, how's the stock market doing when you pull it out? Because at that point, it could be like crashing. It'll go back up. It always does. America would have to completely crash. And by then, I wouldn't worry about the stock market. There's a lot more problems to deal with if America crashes than your money in the stock market. Inflation would be out of control. We would be in trouble. So I wouldn't worry about that. But if you do decide to invest like in stocks, just know that it takes a little bit of a put it in and forget it. Don't pay attention to it. Get some good solid advice. Get education on it. Put it in there. Forget it for a decade. Forget it for 20 years. But if you only have 5 years, I would not advise you to put your money into stocks. My favorite thing, real estate. People always need a place to live. Land will always be worth money. And I get a much better return and a solid return on real estate than I ever did or ever do in the stock market. I don't have anything in the stock market anymore. I use that to purchase real estate. And that is paying well. And not only that, I've made so many friends along the way. Being able to provide these rentals to people that I enjoy seeing and talking to and taking care of when they need stuff absolutely makes me happy. It fits right into my motto that after I encounter somebody on purpose, their life is better after I have encountered them because I've given them something. I have actively treated them well. I have made their life better through maybe some education or just being a friendly smile. Whatever the situation, their life is better after meeting me. That's my motto. So that fits right in with why I do real estate as well. And also, one of the first greatest decisions I ever made, outside of marrying Carrie and happiness and what I need for love languages, financially, the best decision I ever made was buying that duplex that Carrie and I first moved into. We lived in the bottom part and we rented out the top part. That paid the majority of our mortgage. So we essentially lived in our own home for it cost us about $100 to $150 a month in mortgage. And once we got established with that, then we found our next home, and now we live here. And since then, have been able to purchase a triplex. Did some remodeling because I've had my own construction business, so I've got some knowledge and understanding with that. I know how to find the people that I need for stuff that I can't do, and then that led to the next duplex. Was hoping to do something this year. I was kind of a tentative goal was to purchase real estate once a year. That's not happened this year. Nursing has gone in a different direction with me, with traveling. We've had some family stuff, and so I am going to plan is to work local here give it a year, and just kind of be here and get through this. And this channel was born just last week, 7 days ago. And it was born out of me coming out of a winter season in my life that I needed to share with people. And I needed to be raw and share how depression can be completely debilitating and how to get out of that. What are the tools? You can't just will it away. You have to have tools. You have to work. You have to do something for it. You can't just lay there and feel sorry for yourself and be sad. I did that. It doesn't work. It makes it worse. Guaranteed it makes it worse. Dieting. And by dieting, I don't mean the traditional dieting. Your diet. The fuel you put into your body can make the world of difference in how you feel mentally. My diet, exercise, getting outside and going for a walk, doing these lives in the morning is so mentally healthy for me. Surrounding myself with good people. I've made so many good friends. I'm so excited to go work at the hospital. There's such amazing people there. And all these new people because of Carrie that has works at the clinic. She's met all these wonderful people and made a huge impact. Carrie got an award just a little bit ago that absolutely highlighted her and her hard work and how she makes people feel. She's just like me. Her motto is probably the exact same. She makes people's lives better. And because of her, she's brought a lot more people into my life and has enriched my life with friendships as well. So you see all these things put in order, all these great decisions and relationships and all these have just enriched my life completely. And those are the types of things that I did on purpose to get out of the hole that I was in for the winter season. Pain, loss, suffering, trauma, PTSD. There was a bunch. There was a lot. And sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit. If you ever take the depression test at your doctor, you can look it up online. It'll ask you, what have you been through? Any big changes in life? Any new situations? And I pretty much had all the check marks. It's like, wow, I've literally in 6 months I can check off everything. So it put stress on everything, and it was difficult. But Carrie and I, we're best friends, and we communicate. That's going to be a podcast too. I want to do one on communication relationships. Carrie, I hope that you and I can do this together. I would love to have a podcast for the future, and I'm not putting you on the spot, but it would be really great to have you to do a relationship podcast. I think that would be very beneficial to people. I know when Carrie and I talk to our friends and other people, we talk about relationships. Our number one thing is communication. that you're communicating. And I'm not talking about just relationship as in husband wife or boyfriend girlfriend or boyfriend boyfriend, girlfriend girlfriend. I'm talking about relationship in anything. Your relationship with your kids, your relationship with your coworkers. I almost said with your job, with your coworkers. All of those are relationships, and it takes communication to have a healthy, good relationship. So I've got so many ideas for podcasts and for things. So I'm really excited to get this moving forward. And I told you earlier, yesterday on the evening podcast, I told you I would love to do something different with this space. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I think that people like entertainment. We're more in a TikTok kind of an era, and people like the quick videos and the quick information. They like the lights, they like the music. I think it'd be fun to add some of that in for sure. So, 7 days of human psychology. Now we're doing 7 days of money. And so we'll see how this works. Listen, if you're just tuning in, or if you've been with me this whole time, or you will be watching this video in the future, I have linked my YouTube channel with my Facebook. Take a look. It's Alcatraz 205. I'm going to put a link in there for you to find easily right after I'm done with this live. If I can get 1,000 subscribers, now this is not a short-term goal. This is going to be a long-term goal. This will probably most realistically take a year plus. But who knows? One of these could go viral. Somebody might share it with somebody. The more you share this, the more you like this, the more you comment, the more you subscribe on my YouTube, the more the exposure, and the more that I'll be able to have a bigger audience. But I want to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, then I can go live on YouTube. And that was an absolute goal of mine. So that's kind of where I'm headed with that. But there's things that are more important to me, and that is, even if we just have one-on-one time together here, that I'm providing you with encouragement and information that will help you grow and move forward. So I definitely appreciate you guys being here and even just allowing me to talk with you and for being an audience. So thank you again for being a part of this journey with me. I'm absolutely loving it. It's helping me, and so hopefully I'm returning the favor and helping you out. Let's see what I got here. Oh, he's going to move now. I got a little baby old man. He's a baby, but he's an old man. He's like 13, 14, maybe. He's an old guy, but he's a cute guy. He's a good boy. Well, Ajax, do you want to say hi, Ajax? Want to say hi to people? There you go. Yeah. But the cats love coming up here on the computer. It's pretty funny. And every time we're in bed, I'll have like my phone sitting there, or I'll have like the controller, like the remote, and the cats lay on it. It's weird. It's like not even really warm, but they just lay on it. I wonder if there's some kind of frequency that comes out of electronics. I mean, we know there's frequencies, but I wonder if there's a frequency that like is comforting to them or interesting to them. Who knows? Let's do a podcast on it. So, yeah. So look at that. We're already 40 minutes in. Hopefully, I've brought some value to you. As far as money, I don't know what else to cover about my video this morning. I think I've talked about the rental property. You know, earlier in my video this morning, I talked about my dad buying that mini mall when I was a kid. And that was my first exposure with seeing, going from trading your time for money and moving into using money to make more money. And I didn't really understand it exactly. I mean, I knew that, yeah, you bring in rents, but I didn't really understand the psychology of it and why that was so important. So later in life, when I saw that, I was actually very, very happy that I had gotten the opportunity to spend that time with my dad. And we would drive 2 hours to go to this property, and we would spend the night there, spend the weekend there. We would have, 2, 3, 4 days we would stay there and be remodeling it and doing things. And my dad and I did a lot of bonding during that time. It was a lot of fun to be able to experience that firsthand. So it made a big impact on me. So, information is free nowadays. You look on YouTube, you can find information about anything. A lot of my time back in the day was reading those books and a couple others. Then we entered into the YouTube era and the internet era, and now you can look up anything. So I would go on these long trips. Like for Alabama, I worked there for 6 weeks, and so I'd go down there for 8 days and work. And I did that. I'd go down there for 8 days and come back for 6 days, and I did that 3 times. It's like an 8 hour, 9 hour drive, and that whole drive would be just listening to podcasts. And it would be mostly real estate is what I was trying to learn. And what's interesting about that is you can have all the knowledge in the world or access to all of the knowledge in the world, and it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how smart you are or what you've heard or what you've internalized. Unless you put action to it and face the fear of possibly failing, but being okay with that and being driven to something and setting goals, you won't experience that. So you can be educated beyond your intelligence, and it won't matter. It's so important that you put action to those words or actions to those thoughts or those dreams. That how it be, folks. That how it be. Who enjoyed my dancing? I like dancing. I've a couple of. That's not really a dance, that one. But I was trying to do it just to get people's attention, grab your attention, and get you on my live, so that we can talk and see if it would help you. So everything money. You know what I'd like to do is if I could superimpose some money symbols over my eyes on this live. That would be kind of cool, right? Then you would know we're talking about money. So, but yeah, that's finances. That's a little bit of money psychology in a nutshell. Ooh, I want to tell you something. Do you know? Okay, so if I could say who I am in a nutshell. Oh, I'm in a nutshell. Help me, I'm in a nutshell. That's me in a nutshell. Oh, I'm in a nutshell. Get me out. Austin Powers reference. Help me, I'm in a nutshell. That's okay. That's enough of that. Oh boy. All right. Everything money. Bank rupture story. Foreclosure story. What money allows us. Freedom, security. You trade your money for time. It's not the smartest thing. We all do it. The better position would be to trade money for money. Learning to provide value to other people will make you wealthy. You will become more valuable to people. I tell young people this all the time. Find what you love to do. Find a passion, and then figure out a way to make money doing that. Whatever that might be. Too many young people are pushed into college, encouraged far too much to just go to a school, get in a shit ton of debt, and hopefully get a job in the field that you studied for and are $100,000 in debt to. I'm not knocking on colleges, but I really think that it would be important to think about, is that really what that young person wants to do in their life? I didn't really value education until I was in my mid 20s. That's when I really started wanting to read, learn about history, learn about biology and the sciences. That's really when my mind was at its most sponge like state. I just wanted to soak up everything. In high school, nah, not at all. I just didn't have the drive for it. All I wanted to do was go work with my dad. I enjoyed being with my dad. I enjoyed the hard work. I enjoyed that I was building some muscle out there, carrying those shingles for him, working on the roof. I felt like one of the boys. And, some people would say, well, what are you really going to amount to going in that direction? You're just going to be a roofer? Well, who knows? And so what if I was? If I was happy, and that's what made me happy the rest of my life, then absolutely. But the good thing about life is we get to always be evaluating what makes us happy and which direction we want to go in life. So, okay, I think I've kind of covered just about everything. We're 45 minutes in. I've got no problem with stopping there. I've covered what I covered this morning. This morning's topic out at Pikes Peak was psychology of money. I think I've covered most of that. I don't see any more comments about anything more that folks would want to hear about or learn about. So I think that should about cover that. As far as tomorrow goes, I think, let's see. As far as tomorrow goes, I'm gonna have to ponder this for a little bit and see what the next direction for money is gonna want to be, and then I'll go into that and cover that. So it'll be a good time. If you're available tomorrow, 8:30. 8:30 has been the time that I've been going live in the mornings out at Pikes Peak. Anywhere from just under 20 minutes all the way to like 38 minutes. I've been able to carry on the live. Just depends on the amount of information and depending on the weather and things like that. So join me tomorrow if you would. 8:30 is always the plan. It looks like tomorrow, it's going to be, it's going to be probably about the same thing as it was today. It was like 38 degrees out there this morning, so which is fine. I enjoyed it. The sun was shining. It felt good. I'll do it again. So I'll see you in the morning. And if I don't, just catch up in the video later. Okay? All right. That wraps it up for this live. Thanks for being a part of it. As always, I appreciate you guys. I love you. Take care of yourself. Take some of these principles, put them to your life, and then let me know in the comments section on any of my videos how I can help you or how this information has helped you. Also like to plug my YouTube channel, Alcatraz 205. Follow me there. I'm looking for 1,000 subscribers. That's going to help me get off the ground and get more into a more podcast type of a situation with a live stream from YouTube. And I think that about does it. You guys have a great evening.